As you're making your way to your seats, we'll finish up on the door prizes, so grab your name tag again. Be aware of your number. We're going to start with 262. 262. If you got it, raise your hand up. Just make sure we're not missing them anywhere. 262. Anyone? All right, let's go 274. 274. Can't give anything away, can we? Okay, 266. There we go. There we go. Grab if there's not one sitting by you, they're getting kind of sparse, just hop up and grab one. 261. 261. Okay, what about 323? 323. There we go. 195. 195. There we go, Nathan. What about 280? 280. 280. There we go. 392. 392. There we go. 330. 330. 330. What about 226? 226. RJ, we can't even give this stuff away anymore. What about 390? 390? And 196. 196. There we go. Tammy, make sure you grab one there. And that's all. RJ, I think we're on to you. If you're not seated, please go ahead and grab your seat, and we'll get going here with some awards.
We're going to start our awards off with something a little bit different. It was something that we had the opportunity to look into, to start. Dr. Cubitt, my wife Aubrey, my Aunt Tina, my sister, a group of them kind of went together, and we wanted to do something different that hit all aspects of our clientele. And this year, we decided to do a scholarship. And so I'm going to read down through. We had I think we ended up with 15 applicants, and we got our winner. So now I'd like to take the time to introduce our first ever 2022-2023 $1,000 Commitment to Excellence Scholarship recipient. We are very excited to offer this scholarship as we are focused on the upcoming generations of being the future of our industry. The scholarship application process required a 500-word essay explaining how equine involvement has prepared them for the future and what major skills that they have acquired and how they will apply those skills moving forward, as well as personal questions so we could get to know the recipient. We are pleased to announce the first ever recipient, Maya Wiltzus. We believe she will be a great representative of DAC in this award, and we hope to continue this in the future. The young lady from Wisconsin expresses passion and commitment to the industry and her education. She is very involved with the community, and most of all, she loves horses. Those were just a few of Maya's outstanding attributes that stood out to our committee. Maya intends on attending college to study animal science and agribusiness at the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. Unfortunately, she could not be here to join us today. However, her dealer, Tammy Harms-Myers, is in attendance. Maya also heard about the scholarship from Tammy and told her that she should apply for it. Tammy, if you wouldn't mind, please coming up to accept this scholarship on behalf of Maya. We're very excited about that, and if you guys know of anybody, it will be going forward again for next year. So please pass that on to anybody. We would love to see the results grow and get as many applications as we can, and we hope to grow the amount of money that we're able to donate back to the young generation going forward in the horse industry. With that being said, we're going to start into our 2022 awards. First, we'll start out with our top 10 dealers. In 10th place would be Byler's Harness and Shoe Shop, Noah Byler. If you wouldn't mind when I announce you guys, please step on up. And my father here on the left side, our chairs here are our top 10 dealer gifts. So if Noah Byler would step on up. Thank you very much, Noah. In 9th place is Dan Hirschberger in Wisconsin. Is Dan here? Right there. Eighth place is Tammy Harms Myers of Wisconsin. Seventh place is Homer Slaybaugh of Wisconsin. Sixth place is Hillside Harness and Hardware and John Raber of Ohio. I won't steal all of Andy's thunder on this either. I know he's going to talk a little bit, but it does show. You can see our top 10 dealers. I'm pretty sure every one of them are here. The people that come and support, you guys put on the meetings, you come to learn. You're the ones that are here, like I had said earlier in my talk, the knowledge. That's the number one thing. When you guys have the knowledge or are able to pass it on, the results show and you're able to pass that down. Number 5 is Mullet's Harness Shop, Joey Mullet of Ohio. Number 4 is Nicole Varee of Pennsylvania. Number 3 is Willis Graber, Indiana. Number 2 is Yoder's Blacksmith, Henry Yoder in Ohio. And our top dealer of 2022 is Aaron Yoder of Iowa. Let's give every one of those guys a round of applause for our top 10. Yes, and you guys, please make sure you take your chairs with you if at all possible. If you can't, please let your territory manager know, and we will hopefully get those on your next order and get them sent out to you. They are a little bit bigger to put on a freight, so if you could take them in the car with you guys so we don't have to worry about them getting damaged, that would be awesome. The next, we will go to our top distributors. Number 1 would be Animal Health International of Colorado. They don't have anybody here today. We will go to number 2, which is Elvie Schrock of Mississippi. Mississippi, they got that wrong, Elvie. I've been to your place a time or two, and I know we're not Mississippi. Thank you very much. In 3rd place is R.J. Matthews. Let's give our top 3 a round of applause for our distributors. Now we'll do a little bit of something different. We're going to go down through each territory and give our top dealers in each territory an award. So if I could please have all the territory reps please step up here. We're going to start with Andy Ellsworth here. Sorry about that. First place for Andy Ellsworth in his territory is Aaron Yoder. Also was the top 10 dealer in 2022. Runner-up in Andy's territory was Homer Slaybaugh. In 3rd place was Tammy Harms Myers. Pretty cool to see all 3 of your top 3 dealers in the top 10. Next, we're going to go up to Everett Troyer. Everett's top dealer in his territory was Willis Graber. Also ended up 3rd overall. Runner-up was Dennis Slaybaugh of Indiana. In 3rd place was Reuben Miller in Indiana as well. Next, we will go to Katie McGrain. As you guys can see, Katie has a handful of states that she does cover. Her top dealer out of those states is Nicole Veree. Second place was Byler's Harness and Shoe Shop, Noah Byler. In third place was Shetler's Collar Shop, Mose Shetler. Where is Trapper? Oh, right there. Here. Trapper's top dealer would be Yoder's Blacksmith, who ended up second overall in the top 10. Runner-up is Mullet's Harness Shop, Joe Mullet, also in the top 10 overall in the company as well. In his third place is Hillside Harness and Hardware. Also, I just want to have Tiffany is standing down here. She took over a large role, new rep in the area, took over part of my territory, took over Florida and Georgia for us, has done a great job. Obviously, having a far territory like that, hard to get some people to come in for her area, but she is doing a great job for us. So if you guys get a second to, that is right, if you guys get a second to stop in and talk to her, please feel free to do that. Also, we had Mary Blair out of California, who, like I said, her mom had a fall and she could not make it, but she also has done a very good job for us and has a handful of dealers that are right there running in close to that top 10. So I thank every one of you guys, also our top dealers as well that made that top 10, and we look forward to a great 2023, and we're on the right track in that direction. I have theirs, Mary's as well. Susie Tomney was her top dealer, and John Borkholder was number 2, and third place was Melissa Biggs. Tiffany, I'm sorry. Janet Horn out of Florida could not make it. Janet has been here a handful of times. Janet Horn was Tiffany's top dealer out of Florida. Runner-up was Yoder Blacksmith, Joe Yoder. Joe made it to the DAC days last year. I think he had a little more of a task than he anticipated when he did come. He rode the train up and ended up missed the bus. Then the next bus got canceled, so he wasn't too thrilled on coming back this year. So hopefully next year we can talk him into coming. And third place would be T&T Distributors out of Florida. Then our top 4 territory managers are Andy Ellsworth, Everett Troyer, Katie McGrain, and Trapper Troyer. So let's give those top 4 a round of applause. Our top territory manager, Andy Ellsworth. Andy, if you would come on up, please. When I first got the sales position, going on 3 years ago now, I pretty sure if you guys were here, I said, my goal is I'm coming for you, Andy. I never got close. He blew it out of the water. He proceeds to do that every single year. 5 years in a row, top sales rep. So thank you very much, Andy. And you guys are going to hear from him coming up next, and he has a great topic. Next is our Rising Star Award. Doug Landon, if you would please come on up. Doug took over the Texas territory. He has Texas, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Very, very hard area to conquer in the sales position. If you guys think that you have a lot of other competitors in your area, if you go to the Pilot Point, Texas area, he has so many competitors that people are always trying to get into each trainer. It's all trainers in that area, and Doug has done a very good job for us. So thank you very much, Doug, on the Rising Star Award of 2022. Thank you. That's all I have. Let's get one more round of applause for our top 10 and our top reps, please. One thing I will say quick before Andy does come up here is he is very, very good with his numbers on what he has to do to hit his goals. And I suggest to all of you guys, if you set yourself little goals like that, talk to Andy about it. He's very smart. But you may think, wow, those top 10, they're way too far out of reach. some of those top 10 dealers that are here today said that exact same thing a few years ago. And I don't think it's out of anybody's position to be able to step up there and grab into that top 10. So I hope for all you guys the best, and I look forward to everything going forward. Thank you.
I don't know, is this on? There we go. Okay, RJ's done stealing my thunder now because he's already covered a couple things that I wanted to talk about. But thank you guys for coming out. You know, this company wouldn't be where it is today without every single one of you. And I thought it was very interesting and very telling right there. The majority of our top 10 dealers, the majority of the top dealers out of the territories were here today. And I think that shows us, it's rewarding for us as territory managers, what we're saying is actually working. Dr. Cubitt, what she's putting out there is actually working. You guys are taking it home with you and sharing it with your customers. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. I've been with DAC for 14 years. Seen a lot of change in myself, seen a lot of change in the business, seen a lot of change not only in the DAC business, but in the horse business. You know, you look at how the horse business has evolved over the past 10 years, over the past 5 years. You know, it's taken off. I don't care what discipline you're doing. I guarantee you're paying way more for your horses than you did 5 years ago. I also guarantee you're selling them for way more than what you did 5 years ago. So that's great. So I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, kind of what I've seen when I started, how I got started in DAC, some of the transitions. But I want to talk also about the success that we've had, not only in my territory, but what I've seen across to everyone. Every territory manager out there does a great job, and they've all seen growth in their own territories with their own dealers. So I want to share a little bit what I gathered from them. So I first want to start, when I started with DAC, I started in 2009, and it was kind of a by chance, I don't know, by fate, however you want to say it. Randy bought a horse from us. We'd fed the products for quite a few years, and Randy bought a horse from me, and I'd always looked up to Randy in the industry because I had halter horses as well. My dad grew up doing the same thing, I should say, same business, and Randy is very successful. Well, he flies out to buy a horse from us, and this was in October, right before the Quarter Horse Congress, and he said to me, he goes, well, hey, we need someone out in this area. At that time, Furman was coming out in the area trying to take care of people. So I guess, Furman, I took your job. I don't know where he went. Sorry, Furman. It's all right, he says. So I think we're both in probably a more fitting place now, I think. But Randy said to me, he goes, hey, we're looking for someone to come out in the area, and we're looking for someone to just spread the word about DAC. He goes, I know you fed the products. You know, is it something you want to do? And at that time, I was working for my dad. I had a night job as well, 3 nights a week. I said, I think I have time. You know, I was young, single, so had plenty of time. So I took it on there. Training-wise, DAC has come a long ways. As Dr. Cubitt said, my first couple trips with her, I didn't know what I didn't know. Not at all. I thought I knew everything, but really didn't. And she did a great job, and I'll talk more on it a little bit later, on helping me get where I am today. So I do really appreciate that. But I think back, my first training was with Bob Clayton. Bob came and picked me up in Wisconsin. When the territory started, we had 7 dealers in the territory that I cover now, those 10 states. And we're going to go around and do meetings. So Bob came and picked me up in an extended cab pickup. It was probably about 20 years old at that time. I don't think I had any shocks in it whatsoever. And his brother was with him. I don't know if any of you have known his brother, but those two were they're sitting in the front seat. I was jammed in the back seat. And anyone that knows me, I'm not a very good passenger. I think RJ realized that yesterday on our 2-hour drive. I'm not a very good passenger. So I'm crammed in the back seat of this. I traveled around. We did 2 meetings with Bob. I listened to Bob for 2 meetings. That was my training. Fast forward 3-4 weeks. My first dealer that I set up is Aaron Yoder. Aaron was the top dealer this year. He was the first one I set up. I went and talked to Aaron. I still remember we were standing outside at the pickup truck, and I don't know if I was more scared to talk to him or he was more scared to talk to me. But it was a really awkward conversation, but we got through it, didn't we, Aaron? So, first meeting I did was actually at Aaron's as well, and that's a story that I want to share. I learned a lot from that first meeting. I learned, again, probably what I didn't know, started on that path. But the first meeting, I think it was in June or July. We had it at Aaron's down in southern Iowa. If you guys know Iowa in July, it's hot. It's humid. It's hot. So we did Aaron's meeting. I think the number one thing I learned is I will never do a meeting in southern Iowa in July again because it was extremely hot that day. But we did Aaron's meeting. We had a bunch of people there. We're out at his mom's place in a shed.
And we had them jammed in there. I don't know, in my mind there were 1,000 people there, but there was probably 80 to 100 people. Good-sized meeting. And we did Aaron's meeting, and I studied up. I had my catalog. I had all my notes in it, everything I thought I knew. Went through the catalog, talked about all the products we got done, and I felt good. It's like, oh, man, tons of people here. This is great. And we're waiting, again, first meeting for me, but I kind of knew how it went. People should come up and start ordering. We're sitting, and we're sitting, and we're sitting, and we're sitting. No one's ordering. And then people are leaving, and my stress level's going, We didn't sell a single thing that night. Guys might come back the next day and got anything, but correct me, we didn't sell a single thing. Didn't write a ticket. I walked out of there that night, and I wanted to cry. What's going on? Can I do this? Can I really do it? And I was like, oh, man, I need help. I really do. And that's when I started traveling with Dr. Cubitt. I started reaching out to territory managers. Trapper, 26 years, Trap? 27 years, 26 years? Probably forgotten more about the products than a lot of us will know. So I started reaching out to Trapper. Everett came on board shortly after that, reached with him. We've had other territory managers. Picking Randy's brain. Randy's fed the products for a lot of years, so picking his brain. And just reached out for that knowledge, reached out for that training. And I think fast forward to where we're at today, the training that you guys have available to you, many of you have been with us for a lot of years, but some of you are new. The training you have available to you through DAC, second to none. It is. Again, Dr. Duran, Dr. Cubitt, we have other speakers come in. I know Russell from Alltech's been here. We've had the NASC company come in, ZenPro. It truly is second to none. We put that knowledge out there for you guys to share with your customers. And I think that's one thing that has enabled my territory to grow, but also the company to grow, is we're able to put the information out to you guys, and then you guys can go to your customers. So that was the first meeting I did. I should have started here. I want to talk about the first sale that I ever had, the first time I ever sold a DAC product. My dad, I worked for him in the barn, so I was selling stuff to him, but that's easy. Actually, now that I look at it, working with him is kind of harder than most other people, but that's pretty easy. It's right there, comfortable and whatnot. But the first sale I had, it was when I was traveling around with Bob, and we stopped up at Homer Schleybaugh in Dalton, Wisconsin, and we pulled into Homer's place. And Homer had been a dealer for quite a few years, but not terribly active, anything like that. And we stopped in at Homer's. Homer's got a big welding shop there. And we walk in the shop, and around the corner, and up on the top shelf up there, there's 4 or 5 buckets up there covered up with dust and dirt, and looked like they'd been there 2-3 years probably. And Bob, I just sat and listened. Bob, Homer, hey, do you need anything? We're here. We've got some product in the truck, and introduced myself to him and all that. And Homer, I don't know. We're really not selling a whole lot. We're not moving anything, but I'll tell you what, I do need a Herbal Respond, 5-pound Herbal Respond. So that was, I think at that time it was around $87. That was the first ticket I ever wrote, and I drove out of that driveway that day going, this is awesome. This is great. Sales. Now you see Homer's in the top 10 here. I always joke with Homer, we used to deliver a lot of product. I have a trailer. Anytime I'd pull into Homer's place with that trailer, I don't care if it was empty, I don't care if it was plumb full, I'd always say to Homer, I said, hey, we got some extra product on the trailer if you need it. So now that I don't deliver anymore, Homer, we got extra product at the warehouse. If you need any, we can get it for you. So, okay. So that's kind of where it's come and where it's gone. My first year as a territory manager, I sold $137,000. Happy, proud. I think they had grown from the year before. I'm not sure where Furman was the year before exactly, but it had grown. And now you look at what we're doing not only as territory managers, there's 4 of us over $1 million last year, but as a company, how much it's grown. The top dealer back in 2009 when I started, the top dealer sold $24,000. To be in the top 10 this year, you had to be over $63,000, I think it was, right around that $60,000 range. So again, that growth, it doesn't happen by accident. It happens because of your guys' efforts. It happens because of the territory managers. So that's kind of where it's gone now, or where it's come from, I should say. Now I want to talk about why. And I first want to talk about my area a little bit, kind of what I've seen with the dealers that are successful, the dealers that are growing. But I also wanted to reach out to a few of the other territory managers. So some of you are in here tonight. I know I don't know you all by face, but I might say you by name a little bit. So I know Katie and Everett reached out to some of their top dealers and some of the dealers that have had success and had growth and kind of picked their brain a little bit. So just to talk in my territory, I think the biggest thing for a dealer to be successful, I think this is true across the board, is they've got to be willing. They've got to be willing to learn. They've got to be willing to try new things. And this is one thing personally, when I started, I grew up in the quarter horse world. I only went to quarter horse shows. I didn't want to go to an Arabian show. You guys been around those people? Sorry if there's any in here. I didn't go to a draft horse deal because I wasn't comfortable there. It was something that was foreign to me and something that was, quite frankly, scary. New things. I'm not as outward spoken as maybe I come across. I'm kind of more laid back, kind of like Randy said. You come talk to me, I'll talk to you, but I'm not going to walk up to you a whole lot. So those new things, to go try new things, I think that's one thing that I see in my territory. The customers that are out there that are involved in events all around in their area, not just one thing. If I go to a quarter horse show, and I go to a quarter horse show every month, or maybe a standardbred sale, go to the same standardbred sale every month, I'm going to see the same people. I'm going to see them all the time. Yeah, you're providing a service, and that's great if it fits in, but what if you guys reached out and you went to a dog show? You've got great dog supplements. Heck, go to a co-op that sells, or go to a hunting store. You can sell them deer block now. Go somewhere, reach out and reach new people. So I think that's one thing I've seen, my customers grow is they've kind of branched out and maybe done things that are more comfortable, and I've seen it personally as well. I truly do, and every territory manager will stand up and say this. I've got great dealers. They're in contact all the time with questions, and I think that's key. In my position, I should be able to answer their questions, but there's a lot that I can't. We've got great resources. Again, Dr. Durr and Dr. Cubitt. Kemen has been tremendous. We've had a couple things that we've talked to Kemen about. And I had one question that came up last year at the DAC Days Midwest about feeding Beauty-Pearl to cattle. And reached out to Ashley, who's with Kemen, and then Michael, who's with Kemen. And they went to their head dairy guy, and they sent me a report on saying it's going to work and all this stuff. I'm not kidding you. It's probably 20 pages long of research that they've said and why. 80% of the words I couldn't understand, but I knew that they had that there. I knew we could go to them and get those answers. So, but my dealers are involved in doing meetings. I know, show of hands, how many of you guys have hosted a meeting or maybe a webinar or anything? Yep, and I'd venture to guess that your business has grown because of those meetings. If you're not, maybe you don't want to get people together. If you've got the ability to do a webinar, do a webinar. It's simple. Shoot, you can sit at home and sit on your couch and do it. Invite your customers. Or get on our monthly webinars. You can invite. That's not just for dealers. That is for everyone. That's for your customers that might have questions. That's for potential customers. Everyone's got a smartphone today. Have them pop on, send them the link. They can listen in when they're driving down the road. YouTube, get on there. All the webinars Dr. Cubitt's done are on there. Again, you're driving down the road. You got a long drive, listen to it. The more you listen, the more things you'll pick up, the more you'll be able to pass it on to your customers. I think personally, we've got great support at the office. Deb, I'm sure Deb's blood pressure's high right now. But she does a tremendous job. I know Randy and RJ are taken away from the office a lot. Deb does a tremendous job keeping everything in. I guarantee Deb knows where every penny that comes into the office goes. And if there's a penny missing, she's going to call someone and find out who has it. So tremendous job there. Furman in the warehouse, John, Ethan, I don't know if they're still here or not, but you look at what our warehouse, many of you came out last night, and if you didn't see the warehouse, I do suggest after we're done here, go over and check it out. Look at the improvements they've done there. I remember when I started with DAC, the first time I came out, Furman was in the warehouse there, and he was unloading, it was Orange Superior at the time, I think, and it came in little short pallet like that, bags stacked like 10 high. And he'd take them off the trailer with a ramp and a hand jack or hand roller, whatever you want to call it. He'd roll them down, and then Furman, he's very particular on things, how he is, he would restack every single bag by hand. It wasn't good enough how it came in and sat. He'd restack every bag. I don't think he's doing that anymore. So, again, kind of the changes. But we've got great support in the office. We very seldom have back orders. If we have a back order, it's not because we messed up ordering it. It's because we can't get it in. And we know the product chain or the supply chain has been broken a little bit, but I say it all the time, I guarantee Furman has it ordered. It's just we're having trouble getting it from the suppliers. So I think that's enabled you guys to have the product to sell it. I think it's enabled us territory managers to know, hey, we'll get that order in, we're going to get it shipped to you, and you're going to get it in a timely manner. So I think that's a lot of the growth that we've seen. And then RJ hit on it a little bit. We talked as a staff yesterday about setting goals. And this is one thing. I know y'all got notepads there. I'm actually going to have you do two things real quick. Grab out a notepad, grab a pen. And this is for everyone. Whether you're a DAC dealer, whether you're maybe a retail customer, whether you're a wife, boyfriend, kid, everyone grab a piece of paper. I'm going to have you do two different things. So the first thing I want you to do is I want you to write down how many years you've been involved with DAC. You know we've been around for 40 years. So how many years have you maybe fed DAC? How many years have you been a dealer? Or how many years have you maybe supplied DAC or sold DAC? So just think about that for a little bit. Write that number down, because we're going to use that later. Everyone's brain's churning right now. So how many years? When were you first exposed to DAC? When did you first start feeding it, selling it, maybe supplying? I know we've got some suppliers in here. And then the second number I want you guys to write down is on the goals part. And this would maybe be more for the dealers. If you got another business, feel free to write your goals on that. I want you to write down dollar amount, how much you want to sell in 2023. And you DAC dealers, you should know what you sold last year. I want you to write down your goal for 2023. How much do you want to sell for the whole year? Write that down. So now we're going to do some math. This is the hard part. You look at those goals, and we did this yesterday, and Doug, I'm going to pick on Doug a little bit. I've known Doug for a lot of years. Doug grew up in the halter horse industry as well. Doug and I were talking yesterday about goals, and I asked him, I said, Doug, how much do you want to sell this year? And he hem-hawed around a little bit, and he said, I want to sell $500,000. He said, that's a huge number. That's intimidating. That's scary. I want to sell $500,000. That's a big number, isn't it? You guys, the numbers you wrote down, that's big numbers. It's scary, isn't it? So what we did is we broke it down. I'm not going to make you do all this. We broke it down per month, per month, per week, and per day. But I want you guys to break it down per day. So whatever number you wrote down there, divide it by 365. Some of you are going to struggle with math. Get close. Ballpark it. Everyone's getting their calculator out. I still remember I was kind of at the age where my math teacher, she'd always give me a hard time. She said, you're not going to have a calculator with you all the time. We do now. So now look at that number. It's not as scary, is it? Doug, yesterday when we did this, I think he had to reach his $500,000 goal, he had to sell $1,300 a day. And he said out loud, I don't know where Doug's height, there he is. He said out loud, he goes, oh, that's not as scary. That's not as bad. $500,000, scary. 1,300. Set a small goal. Because the year goes fast. Shoot, we're already middle of March. If you fall behind and you don't realize you're off your big goal that far, it's really hard to catch up. So set small goals that are more attainable. Set that daily goal. Try to hit it every single day. You look, maybe you're not hitting it, make an extra phone call. Stop in at past customers. Do a post on social media. Social media is great. Man, everyone can throw something on there. It takes 2 seconds. Not a whole lot of effort. Copy it from Katie. Katie posts a lot in there. Copy it from, I post stuff in my groups. Copy it off there and put it out there. Just get that out in front of people. That might help you hit those daily goals. So, yeah, keep that big number in mind, but really focus on that small number. Focus on that daily. What do you want to do daily to get you to the end there? And I think you'll be a lot more successful there. So now I want to talk about what I learned from the other territory managers and with them talking to their customers on why they thought they were successful. And you'd be amazed at how much these align. So Katie reached out to Justin. Justin said he finds that is Justin in here? There he is. Good. He finds a lot of his success comes from having a high inventory. having products there for your customers. If you don't have it, they're either not going to buy it ever, or they're going to go to someone else and buy it. Everyone wants what they want yesterday. We're all impatient. We all want it. We'll get it next week. Next week turns into 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. So high inventory, and I see that in my own area as well. The people that have the product there, sell more of it, if it's available for them. Variety of events, Justin. That's kind of where I got thinking a little bit about my area. Again, reach out. Go to something different. We've got livestock line. We've got canine line. We are in the deer business. I'm excited about that as well. I think that's going to be great. But you can go, to different events. And then odds are you're talking to someone that hunts deer. Shoot, they might have a cow at home, a horse at home, a dog at home. So it opens up those territories. Alyssa, I don't know, is Alyssa here? There we go. Alyssa said she offers delivery in her area, free delivery in her area. That's great. Customer service. If you can get it to them, the quicker you can get it to them, the quicker they're going to start using it, the quicker they're going to buy more. So, if you wait a week, it's going to be another add-on to when that bucket's gone, another week before they get it. So, that customer service is great. Mary Ray. Is Mary Ray here? No? She said social media. And I know most of you Amish guys aren't on Facebook, I don't think. Some of you elders aren't on Facebook as well. But it's great. TikTok. I'm not a TikTok. I'm not any of that. But Facebook, there's tons of free avenues out there to advertise and advertise your business. So, she's seen that. And then direct access to PHN. And I think that is a big one as well. And Tania spoke towards that. There's very few companies out there that do offer you access directly to them. Most companies, you could come to me, the sales manager, and that's it. It stops there. You can't go to the owner sometimes. You can't go to the nutritionist because they're busy with other things. So I really do urge that you guys don't be afraid to use Tania. Call Tania. And if she doesn't pick up the first time, call again and again and again, right? 10? Nicole Varese here. I saw Nicole somewhere. Yep, Nicole's in top 10 this year. Developing trust with your customers. We need to help them before we can sell them something. Tania shared the story about the young kid. He was actually from Wisconsin, that came in, and we gained his trust by just flat telling him to feed hay to his horse. Sounds simple. I guarantee I could call him tomorrow and say, hey, we've got a new product. You need to feed it. It's going to help. And he wouldn't ask questions because we've developed that trust. We've helped him. So we need to develop that basis first. And then Nicole also put in there that she's got tremendous support from her husband. So props. And I think we do as well. In my situation, my wife, I travel a lot. I couldn't do without her at home. So that's great. Dennis Schlabaugh's here, I know. Dennis, I think he attributed his success to being able to answer his customers' questions. And I think the more comfortable you guys are with your knowledge, the more you can answer that customer's question, the better resource you are for them, the more trust that you gain. There's always questions you can't answer. I still get tons of questions you can't answer. Don't be afraid to say, I don't know, but I will find out. They'll respect you a lot more than that than just giving them a hoopla story, and guide them in the wrong direction. But make sure when you say, I will find out, that you find out. Because that's actually probably worse than just giving them a hoopla story. You guys have resources. Your territory manager, Dr. Cubitt, Randy, whoever it may be, so use those. Ever added in there on Dennis is that he's always asking questions. And I love that. When I do meetings, if people don't ask questions afterwards, I feel like it was a failure. Because we learn a lot through the questions. It's if you're thinking it, odds are there's other people thinking it. So, don't be afraid to ask questions. Whether you're at meetings, whether it's, traveling with your territory manager, whether you're a retail customer and you're with your dealer, don't be afraid to ask questions. We learn through that. Liv said that she feels supported. Is Liv here? I think that's one of yours. Okay, yep. She feels supported, and I think as territory managers, that's what we're there for. We're there for support. We're there for you guys. I don't care if it's, a good story, a bad story, you can come to us. I don't care if it's complaints about the products, success stories, because you talk to so many more people than we do. There's only 7 of us. How many people are in here today, Tina? Did you get a count? 200, roughly? Give or take, around there. You guys, there's 200 of you in here right now, but if you each go out and you tell 4 people something you learned today, that's 800 people we've influenced. You can tell them about the new deer block. You could tell them Dr. Steve Duran gets attacked by a lot of animals, and he protects himself. Pretty soon they tell another person, Well, we're not 7 strong, we're not 200 strong, we're 1,000 strong. So go out there and share the knowledge. If you're not excited about the GI Pro 3, you're in the wrong place. I think that product is truly going to change. I think it's going to make it easier for you guys to sell. Number one, the technology behind it is phenomenal. It is unbelievable what they've been able to do. We're the only ones that have it. That's something we've never been able to do before. So you could say, yeah, it's great. There's other products out there. Beautipearl Z, there's other companies that use it. The All-Tech products, other people use them. Yeah, they're great products, and maybe you're comparing, well, they use the same ingredients. You're not going to run into that with the GI Pro 3. DAC exclusive, and that's because our relationship with the Performance Horse Nutrition. So that is a number 1 selling point. I would love for all of you guys to go out here. When you leave, tell 4 people about it. Tell them what's coming, because I truly think that is going to make us grow more and more and more. All of them, and that's kind of the individuals that I spoke to, but all of them as well, I thought this was interesting. We have a quality product. I think that's one big thing. 40 years in business. You can only fool people for so long, right? Truth comes out in the end. I guarantee I'm good at sales, Katie's good at sales, Everett's good at sales, Trapper's good at sales, but we can't fool people for 40 years. We can't. We've got a great product. The product's getting results. So I think that's what enables us, again, the growth that we've had. Knowledge. Again, we've put a lot of new things out to you. There's old things that we've talked about. Go out and share them. The more comfortable you are with them, the more comfortable you're going to be with your customers, the more people we can reach, the more people we can share our story with. Everyone said they use their resources, whether it be Dr. Cubitt, whether it be their territory manager, whether it be someone from Kimmin, but all those people that have grown and that are successful are using their resources. People hate to admit when they're struggling, no matter what it is. It's hard to reach out to someone, and, I've had it in my territory. I see some guys, their sales are down, and they just kind of get down in the dumps, and it isn't until I reach out to them and say, hey, what can I do? How can I help you? Now, we try to do that all the time, but sometimes people are struggling, we don't realize it. So if you guys are struggling, get with your territory manager. Talk to maybe another dealer in here. This is a great opportunity for you guys to mingle. It was like pulling teeth to get you guys back in your chairs because you're all out here chatting and learning stuff, which is great. So talk to other territory managers about your struggle or other dealers about your struggles. And then I think our biggest resource, and I hinted at it a little bit right there, I think is each other. And what I want to do in 2 things. I don't know, what slide do I have up? You want to flip to that other slide? I have 2 slides. Tina told me that I'd have a slideshow up here. So actually I did one, and I think these guys did one. So that's going to be pretty easy. But what I want to do before we end, I real quick, I want to just show you guys how much of a resource everyone is in here. So I had you write down how many years you've been involved with DAC. Everyone's got that done? I need everyone to stand up. Everyone stand up. This is kind of a wedding thing. I've seen it done at weddings on how long you've been married, but we're not going to do that. What we're going to do is I just want to show you guys visually. I'm a very visual person. I like numbers, and I'm very visual. I want to show you visually how much experience we have in here in our dealers. Not our territory managers, not Dr. Cubitt, but in our dealers and our retail customers. So what we're going to do is if you have that number you wrote down, and if it's less than 5 years of exposure to DAC, I want you to sit down. Don't be ashamed. So there's a lot of new people in here to learn. Less than 5 years, sit down. Still majority. Less than 10 years, sit down. So if that number is less than 10. I look and I just look around. I see Mervyn Schmuckers here, and I started working with Mervyn's dad. I see a lot of second and third generation people in here as well, which is great. So, okay, less than 15 years. Sit down. Look at that. Less than 20 years. Still. Less than 25? Number less than 25? We didn't get anyone there. Oh, maybe one in the back there. Okay, what about less than 30 years? There's a couple. 30 or less, yeah. What about 35 years? 35. RJ, you're not even 35 years old. Sit down. Okay, we're at 35. 36 years. 37 years. Less than 37. Lost one. You're still at 37? All right, she's at 37. Okay, less than 38 years. Less than 39 years. 40 years. Reuben. Reuben, I'll ask you, what's the biggest change you've seen in 40 years? More products? Yep. And I think that's, yep. Yep, meetings. Yep. Yep. Yeah, but I think the meeting things, when Dax started, and I know Randy said this in the past, when he bought it, Trapper, I think you were the only one that was doing meetings, and you're doing, what, 4 or 5 a year? Maybe? What'd you do in the last 2 weeks? Probably 4 or 5? Yep. I know last year, I did, I think, 67, 68 meetings, something like that. And it is because not only are we helping you as a dealer grow your business, but we're educating your customers and we're helping build that trust. So 40 years. Been here the whole time. That's great. That right there is a resource. You guys take time. Everyone's in a hurry to get out of here. Hang around and talk. That's where you're going to learn a lot. Up front here, 30, 38, 39 years. I bet she could tell some stories as well. So, yeah, pick. What's that? Some we don't want to hear. But use each other. Use each other as a resource as well, because I think that's great. The more we can learn from each other, it's great. So, and then where I'm going to end are these 2 numbers behind me. Took me a real long time to do my slides. Tina called me. She's like, "Hey, do you have a slide presentation to do?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you. I'll get it to you." And then I got out here. I said, "Can you just do it?" And she wasn't busy with doing everything else, so Tina's been running crazy. So I said, "Can you just do it?" She goes, "I guess." I said, "Okay, I need 24%, I need 15%. And she looked at me side-eyed. She goes, "That's it?" Yeah, that's it. So these 2 numbers, I think, are telling of kind of that exercise we just did where you all stood up, but it's telling of why you people in here are successful. You're doing a great job as your business. So that top number, 24%, I started 2 years ago. In my territory, I started what I call it DAC Days Midwest, because I'm not very creative. I thought for a long time trying to think of a witty name for it or something, but I said DAC Days Midwest. And what I want to do, I've got a lot of my dealers that came. It's a long trip, isn't it? I think I was talking to Joe Stutzman. Joe's from Jamesport, Missouri, and he was out here about 4 years ago, and he said he was really looking forward to coming out here. I don't remember exactly how you said it, but about 3/4 of the way out here, he remembered how far it was to come out here. So a couple years ago in my territory, I started DAC Days Midwest, where it's like this. It's a smaller version. We have Dr. Cubitt come in. We've had veterinarians come in and whatnot, but just offer education not only to our dealers but to our customers in a closer area. A lot of the guys that made the trip here have made it. I know some of you guys from other areas have made it as well. But last year in 2022, the customers that attended that event, their business grew by 24%. So they came in, they learned, and they shared. That's rewarding to me. That's rewarding to Randy, to whoever it may be, because we're working hard. It's working. It takes time to put those events on. It takes effort to put those events on. But when we see numbers like that, it is worth it. It is rewarding. You guys, we're giving you the firepower, and you're able to go out there and sell. Now the top number, 24%, that was DAC Days Midwest in Wisconsin. I usually do that in August. The 15% is everyone that attended last year to this event. People that came here, their business grew by 15%. So again, it's working. We appreciate you guys coming out, and we hope that you learned something today that you can go out and share, that you can help, have healthier horses, that you can help gain the trust of a customer, that you can help drive your sales, that you can help, hit those goals. I do strongly suggest those goals that you wrote down on that paper, take them with you. Staple them up somewhere where you can see them every day. Share them with someone that's going to hold you accountable, whether it be a friend, another dealer. You can share them with me if you want. Share them, because it's easy to set goals when you're the only one that knows about it. Yeah, I made my goal. Did you? So share with someone that's going to hold you accountable. And I think if you do that, I think we can be successful. And I think we've done a great job as a company. I'm very proud to see where this company's come from and gone in these last 14 years with it. Our education part, again, is second to none, and that gives you guys firepower and it makes you feel comfortable. So that's all I have. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you picked something up out of it you can take home. Do you want me to stay up?
Okay, we're going to open it up just for anybody has questions about anything. If it's difficult, ask her.
Did you go through them all?
I guess we have some of them
Everett gave me these, but there's one down there.
Okay,
Go
yeah,
ahead.
if you have questions, I'll grab them real quick. If you have
Freaky
some we
man,
didn't
yes.
collect up. Oh, okay. 2 million. 2 million. Hold me to it. Yep.
$7,600 a day, not including weekends.
No. 56.
56? Oh.
Yep.
But if you include the weekends.
I don't include weekends.
So, and I just want to say, Ruben, when I did my meetings with Andy about a month ago, I did 2 meetings in close proximity. I talked about the exact same thing, and he came to both of them. And I said, didn't you learn everything the other night? And he said, no, every time I come, every time I hear something new. So, there you go.
Do we have any more of the question sheets out there, or we got them all up? Okay, and you can verbally ask them as well.
Okay, I'll just start here. Okay. Oh, we have a horse, mare, that does not like the cool gut. Some horses don't like the taste of it. Would the pre-buff be an option for long-term use, or what about mare relief? Horse is often nervous and has a lot of diarrhea. I would say yes, the pre-buff is an option for buffering, but as far as the last statement about nervous and diarrhea, I would use the Rescue Aid. The mare relief won't give any kind of gut health benefit, so it's not in the same family. But if your horse is nervous, then you could use the mare relief. So there's that question. What else have we got here?
I think the palatability, and this is one thing Dr. Cubitt said that I think helps, mix it, make a mash out of it. Ulcery horses, they're sometimes picky as well. So try to fight. You might have to fight with them for a little bit. Banana flavored instant pudding, that powder mix, you can put that on it. I know Tammy, antacid, or what do you peppermint? Yeah, spearmint. Yep. You say spearmint or peppered flavored? Either. Mint. Yep. And I think what you'll see, and I've seen it a lot, is that horse will start. Once you get them eating it, kind of get them feeling better, their appetite will pick up and they'll start eating it. So. Any other just verbal as they're trying to read?
Oh, shit.
There's some in.
Yep, go ahead.
This one's going to be for Dr. Q. I want to tap into
Yep, go ahead.
her base knowledge on reproduction. We were having a discussion here about, and I heard it at the sale yesterday about mares that have to be on progesterone. Regimen for a certain time period, we put on 90 days.
Yep.
But there was a recommendation, I think they heard it somewhere that you said something about the breeders itself.
Oh, okay. So mares having to be on progesterone to maintain pregnancy, and at some point I said something about Breeders Excel. So the Breeders Excel is the omega-3 fatty acid with vitamin E, and we brought it out for stallions, for semen quality, And there is more research now that it will also help ovarian function. What I had said more recently with research, and I had done it in a webinar, was about that uterus contracting back into place. So, you know, it stretches out while it's carrying a foal, has the foal, and then you want it to snap back into place very quickly so that you can get her bred again. Using the Breeders Excel, which has got the DHA, helps that uterine contraction again. That's where that came from. Oh, should you feed it how long before foaling? That product we recommend at least 60 to 90 days, whether it be stallion or mare. Oh, this is a good one. Can you explain again about your minerals? What it is made of and how it is made? Why not, what makes it digestible? Why not feed plants or trees that have died? Or other words, dirt. Okay, I don't know about dying plants. Yeah, chelated minerals. So, okay, all plants, all minerals are rocks, straight up rocks, dirt out of the ground. But horses eat plants, not rocks, right? And the plants have roots that go down into the ground that absorb the minerals up into the plants, and the horse is meant to eat the plants with the mineral in it, and that's what we call their kind of organic or plant form. That's how an animal is meant to absorb those nutrients. We know that plants just don't have the quantity of minerals that we need for exercise and living 40 years and having a baby every year and pulling a buggy, so we know that they need extra minerals. So before we had the technology, we'd dig those minerals out of the ground, refine them down, so it's copper and zinc and selenium, and sprinkle it on the feed and call it good. But it's still rocks, and horses aren't very good at absorbing rocks. So what we've done in knowing that is chelated the mineral. So chelation just means to attach an organic substance. So you can attach a protein, an amino acid, a carbohydrate. There are lots of different types of organic substances that people will attach. We use proteinate, so types of proteins that you attach to those minerals to make them mimic how the horse would see them in the plant. So that is what makes them more digestible to the horse. Is we've kind of allowed them to now use those receptors in the gut so it would mimic a plant versus just straight up eating dirt. I hope that answers that question.
I've got one here. What have you seen creates a good quality retail client? How can you build your clientele? I think you have to do your part as a dealer to create a good retail client. So kind of that stuff that I talked about before, make sure that you're getting product to them in a timely manner. If they come and get product, make sure you have it there. Either be a resource for them, answer their questions yourselves, or get the answers for them. So it's more you doing your job that's going to gain the trust of that retail customer. They know every time they come to your place, you're going to have the product. They know when they have questions, you're either going to answer it specifically, or you're going to get a hold of myself or Dr. Cubitt, but you're going to find the answer for them. So I think it's you doing your job is going to help create, the loyalty and the trust in that retail customer.
And I think Randy could answer this, because I don't know that there's many people in this room that have probably been bombarded by the amount of people wanting to sponsor you over the years with the level of success that you had. But take yourself away from being the owner of DAC, but go back to being a horse trainer back in the day. What things did you want? When somebody came to you, what stopped you? What pushed you away from one person and said, yeah, I actually might try what you're saying to me? What made or broke the deal? Trust, I guess. But
their success.
Yeah.
I mean, number one, if somebody was offering me a product, like Tania said, over the years I had many a product given to me. But if that product or that person or company wasn't successful or having success, I didn't use it. There's many times I'd left the horse show where somebody came up and give me a bag or a bucket of something, and I hate to say it, I either give it away or left it there because there was no evidence, no scientific background behind it that it worked. And I wasn't just going to feed my horses something that, had none of that. So if it wasn't successful, I wasn't going to use it. And, you know, that's something that I did all while I was showing. I watched successful people, and what were they doing? What were they feeding? And you know, I think every successful person in business, they're looking and watching and listening, and being a good listener is good.
And when you're at a show, you probably had you've got about 10 seconds to catch someone's attention. So if you're going to someone like, you know, Randy when he was a trainer, you've got your 3 or 4 bullet points that you are ready to snap at that person and give them, you know. And I think knowing your audience, knowing, did he want to know the science? Does somebody else want to know who's winning? Who else is feeding your product? Does somebody else want to know what their pain point is that it can fix? So I think every person you go to is going to want 3 bullets that are different, and kind of like learning your audience before you go to them.
And I think in today's market, with everything being more expensive, I think I sell quality more than anything, because everything's gotten more expensive. Even the cheap products have gotten more expensive. So if you really focus on the quality of the ingredients that we put out there, you know, whether it be absorption rates, whether it be the research behind it, you know, they're getting more back out of it. It's an investment. You know, you go buy something cheap, you don't get a whole lot out of it. You buy something that's got the research and the quality, you know, it lasts better for you. You get better return out of it. And I think that's something, everyone's so price conscious right now. I think if we can really focus on selling the quality, and not quality on testimonials, not quality on before and after pictures, the quality on research.
And NASC is a huge one.
Yes.
If cows and horses are in the same pasture, and you want the lick tub with the fly control, can you put them out together? Is it safe? Yes, you certainly can. Cows can eat it too. The pre-buff recommended storage for it not spoiling or changing colors. Now, I'll be open and honest and transparent. The pre-buff has been a thorn in my side. Even though I love that product, we constantly are evolving and changing because it gets thick or it changed color, or it was doing this or doing that. It's like those ingredients just don't want to go together, but I need them to go together. So it is one that you do. I mean, you're putting a mineral in with water. You do have to shake it. It will separate, right? There's just no way I can get that to stay in suspension, because it has a really long shelf life as well. That being said, no product should go through the elements. It shouldn't sit in a barn that's not temperature controlled. Like, I know your barn's not temperature controlled, but it shouldn't freeze and then in the summertime get really hot or be out in the sun. So I know it's really great to buy large quantities of the product. You get a better deal on it. But if you're buying it for only a couple of horses, I recommend that you actually take some product out of your larger quantity, and maybe you use an old bucket to keep it together. But back to the pre-buff, I mean, it is something that we constantly evaluate. I think Furman can attest that the latest batch has been really good and we haven't had any issues, but it is one that you do have to shake. But I don't think we're having the spoiling issues anymore.
And I don't think when it changes color, it's not going bad.
No, it's got some orange coloring in it.
It's not that it's going to hurt the horse or anything.
Yeah. Is the probiotic, oh, sorry, Furman's still talking? Nope. You talk louder, Furman. Nothing. Is the probiotic paste going to have the same thing as the Rescue Aid and the DDA, the GI Pro 3? No, I'm not going to put it in there, because there's times where, you know, I just want to have those bacteria. If you've had your horse on antibiotics or something, you just want to put those bacteria back. So the probiotic paste for now is going to stay just straight up probiotics, the probiotic paste. The Rescue Aid and the DDA are going to be where the GI Pro 3 is for now. So just, you know, again, everything's going to have a lane, differentiate. That's what we've chosen to do for right now. Will it change over time? Maybe, but.
I think this is a good one, and all three of us kind of chime in on it. With new products at DAC and ingredients for specific issues, the symptoms of these issues may overlap. You know, how do us as dealers make good recommendation to our client, you know, make sure we're not wasting money, making sure we're getting the right one. I think, you know, product knowledge, you know, they all pretty well, there is some overlap. You know, you get into the digestive products, you know, the DDA, the Cool Gut, the pre-buff, you know, they're kind of looped in there. But I think the more you talk to that customer, the more that you find out what they're struggling with. You know, maybe they're traveling a lot. Well, if they're traveling a lot, that's stress. They could use the pre-buff prior to travel. That horse is great at home. You know, when he travels, he stresses, you could use pre-buff. Or maybe it's an everyday deal, and, you know, maybe they've had ulcer issues with them in the past, and it's more the cool gut issue. So I think really talk to that customer and listen to them. You know, listen to what they're saying, and then, you know, kind of pick which product you think will work best.
And sometimes there are a lot of issues or goals, and then you have to prioritize them. Because, okay, I don't want my horse to go faster and have a lot more energy, but I need it to gain weight. Or, you know, we've got to prioritize what the problem is, and we'll do the first one and then the second one and kind of go down the list. Because sometimes also, I like to sometimes just do one thing at a time in case we're throwing everything at it at the same time. We don't know which one worked, so one at a time.
So Tanya, talk on this real quick.
Yeah.
I was asked this earlier. Can they feed Cool Gut and DDA at the same time?
Can you feed Cool Gut?
Or should they? Both.
For me, the DDA is something that every horse every day should eat the DDA. That's my little motto. You can take it. That's fine. But I keep it in the program. The Cool Gut is something that's a little more therapeutic. There are some horses that are on it long term. They're just living in a situation where we can't change the stresses. It's a racehorse. It's an exercising horse. But the Cool Gut, you know, let's say we had a performance horse that works during the show season, and then when they're on layup or resting over the winter, they don't need the Cool Gut. But yes, you can feed the two together without any concerns, and you can even throw some rescue aid in there as well if you have other, like, really chronic diarrhea or some other symptoms. But the DDA is something every horse every day should get it. The Cool Gut, therapeutic, but can be long-term depending on what you do with the horse. And then the rescue aid is really meant for short periods. You can feed the rescue aid all the time, but it might run out of money.
And there's another question there. Can you feed too much DDA?
Can you feed too? You can feed too much of everything, of course. You know, the DDA is probably one of the safest products in the catalog, that if you did feed a lot of it, it wouldn't do anything negative to your horse. But and oftentimes, if DDA is the only thing someone has, and they say, oh, my horse has diarrhea or some symptom, and we can't get another product in there quick enough, I'll say, okay, because I'm advising you, or your rep is advising you, we're going to do large doses of the DDA because we can't get something else in time. But does the colt grower have any probiotics? Yes, it does. And, you know, the GI Pro 3 in the supportive role is going in the colt grower as well, because that is just a class of horse where there's a lot of stress going on. They're growing. We're trying to build that gut health and build the microbiome. So yes, there are probiotics in a supportive, not therapeutic. So if you've got a young horse that is having some diarrhea, or maybe you're really pushing hard, you would probably still want to add rescue aid, DDA, something as well as, but there is a supportive amount of the probiotic in the colt grower. Absolutely. I would recommend DDA with everything else in the catalog. Doesn't matter whether you're getting a little bit of the GI Pro 3 out of the colt grower or the rescue aid or whatever. I want DDA every horse and then just build from there.
I used to say, like you, every one of my horses gets DDA. Mm-hmm. Now I bought a horse that's a little bit on the nervous side. When I feed DDA, his skin just won't hold.
What happens?
Bet it's a mare.
It's a mare. Get rid of the girls. You know, there is absolutely nothing in the DDA that would make a horse hot. I get this sometimes even with DAC Orange or with a vitamin and mineral supplement, that I fed that and my horse got a little hot. It's like, well, there's nothing in it, but here's the thing. When we don't feel good, we're usually pretty lethargic. And then when you feel good, you've got a lot more energy. Not that I'm not getting energy out of DDA, and I'm not getting energy out of DAC Orange, but I feel better, and therefore I seem to have more energy. I'm not going to say your horse doesn't go, you know, hot on the DDA, but there's absolutely nothing in it that would cause that. Yeah.
A lot of people confuse a hot horse with a healthy horse. You know, they're
Yeah.
going to feel good. Like
Yeah,
you've been saying,
yeah.
you know, of course they're going to be energetic and
Feel good.
playful and getting mischief.
Yeah.
But it's totally different than a hot horse.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
We've had some problems with you feed bloom and oil being a little too much fat. That sometimes
They'll go off their feet a little bit. Too much fat. What do you recommend, honey?
The question was feed and bloom and oil together, too much fat, they go off their feed. I can't say that I've never had that happen. I haven't had it often, but I think it could be, especially on a younger one, if you really pour it to them too much.
It's like palatability.
Yeah, the palatability issue becomes in. You know, I'm talking though, there was a lot of horses for years. I would give 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ounces of oil and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ounces of bloom, you know. But I was working them every day. I was pushing them hard, you know.
Multiple meals.
Multiple
That's a big
meals.
one.
Yeah.
saying that about earlier when you were training, I showed with this guy, and he never showed that product to anybody. Zero.
Yeah. A lot of times I tore the label off. That's right. Yep. You know, when I came back and started showing, I was the new guy on the block, the young guy. I was up against.
That one's not as scary.
They said, "Oh, Randy wasn't using that." You don't know, he's using something better.
Hop into that one.
Okay.
Yep.
You want to do this?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, oil, you can feed in a total diet, 20% of the diet can come from fat. And it won't hurt a horse, won't affect a horse. But if you put it in too fast, it's the one ingredient that I say you can't overfeed, because if you do, they won't eat it. You can't make them sick because they just won't eat it. So, yeah, if you slowly did it, they'll eat it. Vitamin E and selenium, a lot of people think they have all to always go together. Explain when to use which. So they do go together in the body, like calcium and phosphorus go together, and copper and zinc. Vitamin E and selenium are both powerful antioxidants. Remember, aging, stress, all causes oxidation, which is cell breakdown, like you're dying. Vitamin E and selenium are both powerful antioxidants, so they stop that. But if you're feeding DAC Orange, Total Performance, any vitamin and mineral supplement in our line to the recommended amount, you're getting enough selenium. All right? And I like to see people feed really quite high doses of vitamin E if I'm trying to overcome some muscle issue or muscle soreness. And unfortunately, when you have the vitamin E and selenium combined, there's only so high you can go with the vitamin E before selenium becomes toxic. So I actually tend to recommend the straight vitamin E more than the vitamin E and selenium combined. There are some cases with tying up, and maybe I know that the person isn't feeding selenium, that I would do the vitamin E and selenium, but you're not wrong. They do go together. Most horses get plenty of selenium if they're being fed correctly, but I still like to feed lots more vitamin E, so that's why I separate them.
There's a couple good ones. Is there research to prove or disprove stopping foundation formula after a year will hurt hoof quality long term? I've never heard that.
Oh, well, see, here's the thing. It's the reason why I didn't recommend the joint supplement for a young horse as a preventative. The joints make glucosamine, chondroitin. These aren't artificial ingredients that we put in there. They also do make hyaluronic acid too, and MSM. And if you just start feeding it, then the body's pretty efficient, and it says, well, why do I need to make it then? I'm just going to rely on what I'm ingesting because it's there. And so then if you take it away, you have to slowly, stepwise, so that the body starts making it again. And that's why with an older horse, we absolutely recommend Optimum Flex when they've got they're not making enough of that. They've got diagnosed osteoarthritis, and so we feed that because they're not making enough to support those joints. The hyaluronic acid is different because we know daily with stress, we're thinning that out, so we want to put that in. And I know the question was about foundation formula, but I would go out on a limb and say, the zinc, copper, biotin. The reason why you fed the foundation in the first place was because your horse had poor quality feet. Now, if it was a genetic thing, like this horse just has terrible feet, I fixed the diet, I feed plenty of hay, still has bad feet, I feed foundation formula. If that was the reason, or they had an injury, or you got it from a sale, you rescued it, I have no idea what its backstory was, but I've made it healthy, I've got the hooves healthy, I used the foundation formula for a year, you could probably decrease it. You're going to go through the same thing, right? That body is ingesting that, so it's not making it itself, so you'd have to slowly taper it down. If the horse has bad feet genetically, it's always going to have bad feet genetically, and it needs to stay on this, because this is supporting that hoof quality. So usually once you start the foundation formula, you're not going to go off it. Why do you keep just passing them to me?
I'll do this one real quick. Yep. Is there any manure testing offered to tell us what products to use? Does this come from what Steve was talking about?
Manure testing?
Manure.
Okay.
Fecal.
Yep, okay.
Was this what Steve was talking? On the GI Pro 3 front, I know he talked about, I don't think we're there yet.
No.
Not yet?
No, years ago, there was a company that was taking fecal tests and looking at kind of blood in the manure, and that was kind of their diagnosis for hindgut ulcers, but never really worked very well. In humans, there are fecal tests that you can do that kind of gives you a glimpse of the microbiome, and then based on that, they'll recommend, oh, it's snowing, they'll recommend a probiotic that would suit you, and that is certainly the way that I think it will go, as Dr. Duran said. We'll be able to do a manure test. Already, we're investigating it for colic, right? And there are some that think, okay, if we do a manure test, when we've got a horse come in for colic surgery, and we can look at the microbiome, then we could also maybe get an indicator as to why said horse colicked. There's also some vets looking at a microbiome test that would give you an indication of how successful a colic surgery might be. So before you put your horse under the knife, that you would test the microbiome, and it would say, okay, this horse is already close to death, so you could spend all the money in the world on surgery and it's still going to die. So yeah, it's certainly the direction that it's going. It's really understanding the microbiome, having at-home tests that would direct you in you should feed this type of probiotic or that. Because remember, probiotics is also a very generic term. It just means it's just alive. And so we are learning more about individual probiotics that we should be feeding for certain scenarios, like this, the GI Pro 3. It's specific to those diseases, killing those strains of bacteria that cause those diseases. So. Hair tests, no. Don't do a hair test. They don't work. Over and over and over, we've done research that says hair testing does not give you an accurate glimpse of what is happening in your horse right now. They did say that it was really good at picking up a certain mineral content, but only in black horses. So chestnut horses are always deficient. Well, maybe they're deficient in something because they're crazy.
I think so are blonde women.
Ha ha ha. Okay, blood testing is another one. Blood testing is not an accurate look at what is happening in your horse. The blood is a superhighway, right? And the shop is the muscle. No one shops on the highway. You got to drive your car or your buggy off the highway and go to the shop to purchase your products, right? No one just shops in their car unless you're doing it online. But think about blood testing the same way, right? The blood is just the superhighway to move the nutrients around your body. The muscles or the organs are the tissues where it gets used. Calcium is always going to look fine in your horse's blood, even if it's not. And you know what they'll do? They will suck calcium out of their own bones to make the blood always look fine. So blood tests are also not a very good indicator of nutritional profile. Selenium and vitamin E you can do, but everything else, no. I fed 2 ounces of racing formula to a horse for sale prep with no result. I fed 6 ounces and the horse had more life. Why? Okay. I would say that I would really dig deeper into what did you want when you were prepping this horse? Did you want more expression, and did you want the horse to get more, hyped up? Racing formula is not going to do that. It is a vitamin and mineral supplement, right? It's got some chromium in there that's going to allow you to get more glucose into the cell. But if you're feeding chromium, if you're feeding racing formula and think you're going to like get a faster barrel horse or a faster racehorse, I'd love to say you will, but you're really not going to. It's giving your horse all the nutrients it needs to support all that energy. You fed it 6 ounces and it had more life. Okay, if I had this person with me, we would go through your hay and what else were you feeding. If 2 ounces wasn't enough, the rest of the program potentially was pretty poor. Maybe a really low quality hay, maybe just oats or something, and not great quality. And then the 6 ounces was making up for what you weren't getting. So it's not that the feeding recommendations on the racing formula are wrong, that I only recommend you feed 2 ounces. I have to give recommendations that are kind of in the bell curve, that are an average hay under average conditions. But if we have, a super sick horse or a horse that we're pushing and we've got poor quality hay, then this isn't outside the realm of possibility that the horse responded better to a larger quantity. But again, that's where I would work with you directly on your whole program, because this is just one kind of little piece.
One last one, I think, and then we'll...
Yep.
Oh, as far as that case, yeah, there was probably a multitude of other things that went into why said horse did not respond to the correct amount of racing formula.
Elvie?
Randy, I beg for one more answer to the question.
Okay.
There's one that everyone must fill out anyhow. The question is this: you've got dealers out here that are craving more info on this, including myself. But look at the overlap from the newer products of the symptoms when you're trying to fix one and it's overlapping. You talk about cool gut, leaky gut, vitamin E, metabolic, and pre-bug. Which, if you doctored for the ulcers and you're not getting there, but you've also got a lot of overlapping symptoms here. We've talked about, to the crowd, you've talked about why you developed these products, but we haven't spent a lot of time talking about the overlapping symptoms, and it's up to us as we walk through this to find out from our clients, and we need to hear it from you what some of these overlapping symptoms are, so that when one don't work, we can go to the other.
Yep.
Because there's so many people here struggling with the new product.
Yeah, and that is a good one. So, and I get that a lot. And so we came out with Cool Gut, and it kind of fit a lane that we didn't have before. And then we doctored up the Rescue Aid, and it's like, well, which one do I do, Cool Gut or Rescue Aid? And a lot of times, if we have ulcer-like symptoms, bad behavior, maybe not even bad behavior, but just change in behavior, girthy when you're doing up the harness, don't like you to brush them, groom them, maybe pulling, not wanting to slow down. I always start with the Cool Gut. Now, every horse every day on the DDA, but then I start with the Cool Gut. And if we don't get the result that we want, then I'll try the Rescue Aid. If in the beginning beginning, chronic diarrhea was the issue, I'm going straight to Rescue Aid. Chronic diarrhea for me is the indicator I'm going straight to Rescue Aid. Even if I have other behavior issues, because not every horse with ulcers has diarrhea. And so I usually start with the Cool Gut, unless it's diarrhea, then I go with the Rescue Aid. The difference with the Rescue Aid paste and powder is just simply convenience, or will the horse eat it? Are they eating right now? If they're not eating because the symptoms are so bad that they have gone off their food, I'm going with the paste. I don't know whether that...
Talk about the vitamin E symptoms. I know we're talking about muscle issue, but talk about the symptoms.
So vitamin E, the symptoms typically are uneven muscle tone, like maybe the hindquarter just won't develop, the top line won't develop, soreness, pulling one way, Some people say they like really pulling at the bit and I can't get them to slow down. It's just like a muscle pain. I go straight to vitamin E for muscle pain. And muscle and underdevelopment of the muscles. Like, I'm feeding plenty of grain, I'm feeding plenty of hay. It's a buggy horse that works heavily. Why does it look scrawny still? Vitamin E will help you flesh out that horse, build that muscle.
Does metabolic have any of these similar symptoms?
No, metabolic for me, those horses are typically your overweight horses, cresty neck, laminitis from being fat, not from road founder. They are typically more the ones that will get the metabolic. Head tossing is another one. Head tossing can be, if it's year-round, always toss the head, it's a pain response, right? Something's uncomfortable. If it's seasonal, it's bugs.
Okay. One more question.
Yeah, so horse not cycling, got her from New York, terrible vitamin E, put her on the natural vitamin E, and she started cycling. Remember, reproduction is a luxury. It'll only start happening when got a good body condition score and we don't have all this stress occurring in the body. So the vitamin E certainly will get rid of that oxidative stress. And that's why it's in the Breeders' Excel too. It's DHA and vitamin E. So, yeah.
Great questions. Thank you very much, Tania, Andy, Randy. We're going to take a quick 5-minute break, and then we have a great guest speaker coming up. So if you guys have to use the restroom, need to get some orders to your territory managers, let's do it real quick, 5 minutes, and then we're going to grab our seats and finish out this amazing day.